Hello and welcome to another update video about Solana. Solana is hardly moving at all, but it did move a bit yesterday and it did move down further in line with expectations here with this count on the chart after we broke out of this triangle to the downside. That's when the market had made a decision that we are probably going to go into the yellow support box, which we did. And yeah, I don't think this move is over yet. Obviously, I can't say with certainty, but I told you over the weekend or so that it is usually more likely, if you have an ABC correction like this one, that the C wave goes down below the low of the A wave. Now we've basically formed a double bottom here, so maybe that's it already. Minimum expectation fulfilled here, but ideally it goes a bit lower. So overall the idea here is that Solana could be in a 1-2 setup and will set up for a wave 3 to the upside. However, a few conditions need to be fulfilled for that. Two at least. We need to hold this yellow support box, which means at the very least we should hold the 1180 level, which is the 78.6% retracement of the wave 1, as you will know by now, because we've been talking about that for a while now. Here the 78.6% fib level. Below that level it will just get very unlikely that it's still a wave 2. And the other condition is that obviously afterwards we need to break above the high of the wave 1 here, that is the $15 level. Now in the very short term you can see that the market decided obviously to break out of this triangle. That's in my opinion part of this ABC structure, and the C wave is a 5-wave move, so no surprise that we made a lower low yesterday. So we can take another look at that in a minute. But the idea is that this was a 5-wave move off the low to the upside, then an ABC down in this wave 2, and the C wave is the wave that we're currently looking at, in which we currently are. And you can see that in the C wave, we obviously we're waiting for 5 waves. To me, it looks like at the moment that we've done a wave 1, we've done a wave 2, we've done a wave 3. Here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves in wave 3. Then a wave 4 should be ongoing now. Maybe that is the wave 4, and the wave 5 would still be coming. Target for the wave 5 is extremely difficult to forecast at the moment, because we don't really know exactly where the wave 4 will spike now, where the wave 4 will peak. This could be understood as an impulse to the downside in wave C. So 1, 2, 3. Problem is that the 3 was not really long enough. Let's double check that. Yeah, it wasn't long enough. So the idea is either we go a bit lower in wave 3, or it has to be counted as some kind of a diagonal pattern. These are never very reliable, but what we can do, if we have such a diagonal pattern, we can see if we can draw a channel. And in diagonal patterns, channels are much more reliable than fib levels. So I've got a target here for a possible wave 4, well, maybe of around 30, depending on how long it takes, but let's say this happened today, it would be around $13.60, before we ideally come down once more. But a break out of the channel here to the upside would be an early signal that the things are changing. I'm going to take out the triangle now, it's not relevant anymore. But the channel seems to be relevant. We've got 2 touch points up there. More importantly, 3 touch points down here. Creates a channel, where you need at least 3 on one side, 2 on the other side, a parallel channel, and in a diagonal pattern, channel support and resistance are more relevant than fib levels. And if I look at key support areas in this yellow support box, we're looking at the area of 1250. That's the 61.8% fib level, so I wouldn't be surprised to find eventual support there for wave 5. We'll see. Or that $11.80 level. And from there, at the latest, the price should reverse, or it will probably make new lows, in the region maybe to $7 to $5. That's a support area down there. Now I had a few questions about 1180, holding 1180. Some people ask, what happens if we have a wick below it? A wick doesn't matter. This is not an invalidation point. This is sort of a level below which invalidation will get very likely. So obviously it doesn't help me. It doesn't help us to say, right, below the low of the 22nd of November, we are going to go down lower, because this is already the low. Of course we go down lower if we break the swing low. It's always to understand in which wave are we, and with which fib level becomes invalidation of the short-term upside potential very likely. So the 78.6% fib level is usually an ideal level for wave 2, below which, if we get below that, invalidation gets very likely. So a wick doesn't really invalidate it. Yeah, if we go down with a wick below the 1180 level, it's still okay, because if the market recovers quickly, that's totally fine. And if that happens within a day, it should be fine. It's always about, does this price level get broken substantially? So a small wick doesn't really make any difference, right? But yeah, that's where we are. And then if we find support and do move higher, we can reach sort of the $19 region. But always bear in mind, at the moment, we don't really see any movement, even though Bitcoin and Ethereum are actually performing quite well. Solana isn't doing anything. And then you again have evidence here that no, not every coin is doing what Bitcoin is doing. Surely there are some correlations, but they are temporary, and each coin reacts differently to Bitcoin. So we have to really assess every chart on its own. It's not like if you know Bitcoin, you know them all. No, that's absolutely not the case. This is a perfect evidence that this one here is not related to Bitcoin, at least not at the moment. Of course, there are temporary correlations, but at the moment it's not. Just look at this chart and then look at the Bitcoin chart. It looks completely different. Huge green candle at the moment, rather in an uptrend, whereas Solana is rather in a downtrend. Yeah, so it's interesting to see that, because that's what I've been telling you for a long time, but I still get comments that, you know, you only need to look at Bitcoin and whatever. But no, it's not the case. You know, they all move differently. And just look at Chili's, just look at Polygon, just look at GMX. They're all moving differently. So each coin is in its own wave structure. Yeah, of course there are certain correlations. They are mostly just temporary. Some coins don't care about Bitcoin at all. Yeah, so yeah, but this is the key area that we mentioned, the key breakout points and invalidation points mentioned. So you should be prepared for the next movements. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.